stop. Don't send one more email until you watch this entire video. Over the past few months, the pandemic known as COVID-19 has literally halted the world's economy and caused unemployment rates to skyrocket. What you may not realize is this hike in unemployment threatens to completely destroy your email campaigns. In this video, I show you why it's such a threat and what you can do to protect yourself. Okay, so you're probably sick of hearing about it. COVID-19, coronavirus, pandemic, whatever you want to call it. It's something to be taken very seriously. And if you're an email marketer or a small business owner, or you just have an email list that you're emailing to, it's very, very important that you heed this warning. Just the other day, I read an article that about 3.6 million people in the US alone just filed for unemployment. And with that comes 3.6 million email addresses that have just become invalid. All of those people that just left their jobs have lost those email addresses, and a lot of those are probably on your list, especially if you're in the B2B sector. So, what do you need to do about it? Well, you need to clean your list. And what does that mean? That means using a service that scrubs your list of invalid emails, spam trap emails, things like that. Particularly in this case, invalid emails, because all of those email addresses just got turned off, and if you send to them, you're going to get your domain blacklisted so that from now on, your emails will not reach the inbox. And this is not something to be taken lightly. It only takes a few emails to bounce in order for your domain to be completely blacklisted forever. So how do we do it? I'm gonna show you exactly how to scrub an email list using a service called Zero Bounce. There's plenty of other services out there, but I highly recommend Zero Bounce. I've used them in the past and they do a great job, and there's a link in the description if you wanna use it. By all means, it is an affiliate link. I do get 10% kickback on whatever you guys decide to purchase, but there are other ones out there. There's cheaper solutions, there's more expensive solutions. Either way, it's important that you just clean your list right now more than ever, because I guarantee that a huge portion of your list just became invalid. And if you don't clean your list, you highly, highly, highly risk destroying your sender reputation for the life of your email campaign. No going back. So without further ado, I'm gonna show you exactly how to do it with a service called Zero Bounce. I'm gonna show you over the shoulder, like how you upload a list, clean it, and use those results to put back into your CRM, your email service provider, and get back out there and emailing, because now is the most important time out of any time to be out there emailing and really talking to your customers, making sure that you're nurturing them and getting the most for your money. Okay guys, so in order to clean your email list, there's a couple things that you're gonna need. The first thing that you're gonna need is obviously your email list. So if you don't have a copy of this already, you're gonna wanna open up your email service provider or your CRM and just export a list of your emails. When you get that list, it's going to need to be in either a CSV or a TXT format. So if it's not in that format, just open it up in Excel and save it off as a CSV or a TXT. My recommendation is to use a CSV file. It's a little bit easier to use, but a TXT works as well. The second thing that you may need is a credit card or your PayPal account. When you create a Zero Bounce account, you will get 100 free credits, which will clean 100 emails for free. However, if you have an email list larger than that, you're going to need to purchase additional credits. So have that credit card handy or your PayPal account handy. And the last thing that you're gonna need is just a little bit of time. The initial setup for this is gonna take about 5 to 10 minutes. You're gonna leave your email list processing, and then you're gonna come back to it in about a half hour or longer, depending upon the size of your list. But for the initial part of this, you're just gonna need about 5 minutes of time. So once you have all that stuff, head over to the Zero Bounce website. It's just zerobounce.net, or you can Google it as well. And if you don't already have a Zero Bounce account, you're gonna wanna head over to the top right here and click Get Started. This is pretty straightforward. You're just gonna complete the required information, which is your full name, your email address, a password, your phone number, agree to the terms and conditions, and then click create your account. At this point, they will send you an email just to verify your email address, so click the button in the email to verify, and then you should have an account and you can sign in for the first time. I already have an account, so I'm just gonna go ahead and log in right now. And here we are inside Zero Bounce. This is the user dashboard. On the left-hand side here, you're going to see basically everything you need to validate your email list. So at the top here is going to be the email validator, where you'll be able to either validate single emails or you can upload your file, which we see in front of us right here. There's also an AI scoring system, which is designed specifically for catch-all emails. And if you don't know what those are, just go ahead and look them up. There's also documentation on Zero Bounce. This is not a required step, but it is an additional step that you can take just to be extra safe. There's also a free API with Zero Bounce, so if you want to integrate this directly into a contact form, you can certainly do that, and you'll get all the information you need and your API keys right here. And right at the bottom here is going to be where you're going to purchase credits. Now, you will receive 100 free credits at the time of creating your account. However, if you are trying to validate more than 100 email addresses, you will need more credits. So as you can see, I already have 9,000 credits here, but if I didn't, I would just go ahead and purchase credits. There's really two main ways to purchase credits. You can do a one-time purchase of a package of credits. So you can buy, any amount of these credits. Or you can purchase a subscription, which means you're purchasing like a set amount each month, and that just gets added to your account. These credits never expire, so if you don't use them, they won't disappear. They just remain on your account until you decide to validate more emails. Below that is just going to be some basic account information if you need to change your email address or anything like that, but that's straightforward. So let's get right into it. In order to validate our email list, we're going to click this upload your file. And of course, you're gonna need enough credits to do however many emails are in your file. So if you're trying to validate 1,000 email addresses, you need to have 1,000 credits on your account first before you can do that. So make sure you have those credits, then come to this page and you're gonna select the file that you want to upload. In this case, I'm using a CSV file. And once it's uploaded here, I'm gonna click validate file, and the system's going to basically take a look at that file and see what's inside of it. Now that I'm on this file, I do have 2 rows in this file. I have a first name row and an email address, and it will need you to designate what each row is. There's a couple different options here. Just make sure if it is one of these options, you select what it is. And if it's not, just select custom. For example, if you have titles of people on here, you can just set that as custom. Really, the important one is email address. In this case, I have a first name and an email address. This is my row here. And also row 1 is my header row. So I'm just gonna check that box and I'm gonna click process file to start cleaning this email list. Okay, now that I've clicked process file, you can see the file is queued up here. I have another one running as well. And as the file is processed, it will show me some of the results here. But generally speaking, it's gonna take at least 30 minutes. So you can go ahead and leave this at this point, and you will receive an email from Zero Bounce when your file is complete and you can download your results. While we are here, I just wanna go over some of the definitions here of what sort of validation they do. So valid is an actual valid email address that is good to send to. Basically everything else on this list is risky to send to. So I'll go over what those mean. Invalid basically means that this is not an email address and you will hard bounce an email if you send to that address. You absolutely do not want to keep these emails. You want to throw them out. Catch-all emails are basically accept all emails, meaning the email server will accept email at any address on that domain, and therefore the email address cannot be validated with certainty and it is risky to send to. So again, I would remove those from your list. A spam trap email is an email address that's used to detect spammers. If you're using scraped lists or you just have old data, you may find some emails in here that are spam trap. Again, definitely very risky to send to these email addresses. You can hurt your sender reputation very quickly. This next one is one of the reasons why I love Zero Bounce so much. They actually identify abusers, and these are people that click the mark as spam button very frequently. I choose not to send to these people because they can hurt my sender reputation for everyone else, and it's only usually a few people, so I usually remove those from my list. The last one here, do not mail. These are generally what I've found to be mostly like generic emails, like contact@domain.com or mail@domain.com. Basically general mailboxes. And again, I choose to remove these just because they're not actual people. And a lot of times people get upset when they have general inboxes and everyone's reading those. Finally, in very few cases, Zero Bounce will not be able to validate the actual email address in the case that maybe the mail server's down, and those will be identified as unknown. So that's basically it. We're gonna leave this for about 30 minutes and then I'm gonna come back and I'll show you what this file looks like. We'll see a certain percentage will probably be valid, and then we'll get some of these other ones as well. And I'll show you everything that you get in about 30 minutes. So just hang out 1 second and we'll come back when this is all complete. Okay, so our email list has been completely validated. As you can see here, the title has turned green, the status is now complete, and we can see some of our results here. So this file, while there was only really 95% of it valid, that's actually a pretty good result. And I have cleaned this list very recently, so if you do have an older email list, you may expect to see up to 50-60% of your list actually become invalid, which it may hurt a little bit, but that's actually a really good thing, because if you're emailing only valid email addresses, you're actually gonna get higher open rates, higher response rates, and your deliverability is gonna go way up. So it is good practice to actually validate your email list at least twice a year, and more frequently if you are getting, more risky sort of lists, or you just want to be more diligent with your emailing. So at this point, what we can do is just click the file name, and we're going to be able to download our results file. There are some options here in terms of information that they can append to your file. So in some cases, they will be able to get additional data like first name, last name, gender, the email address domain, the account, if it's a free email, the MX record, the SMTP provider, and they also do corrections if there's like misspellings of the domain extension like Gmail. Sometimes they can correct that stuff. If you want that, you just leave these checked, and then you're gonna click the download file button and you'll be able to download your results file. And I'm gonna switch over and show you exactly what is inside this results file. So click that download button and I'll see you on the next screen. Okay, so when you click download file, you're actually gonna get a zipped folder. And what you're gonna have to do first is unzip that folder, and then you'll have this folder, which will be your file name _ process. This will contain all of your files. Now, Zero Bounce does a really good job at segmenting your data, so it's very easy to use. You're gonna have a different list for each validation status here. So for general purposes, the only one that you need to use is going to be this one, which is Zero Bounce email list _ valid. So if I open this up, I'll see my original file with all my email addresses and the Zero Bounce status. This is going to be all my valid emails here. And I would just re-import this back into my email service provider, my CRM. These are the emails that you want to send to. If you want to see the other results, you can just go back to that folder and you can see the different files here. There is an all results file, so this will be your original file with just appended columns. So you'll see everything in here, the valid, the abuse, the invalids will show up here as well. So you can see what all of this data is. But for the purpose of emailing, you want to make sure that you're only emailing to these valid addresses. So just use the one that says valid, and everything else you can really toss out. So with that, I hope this video really helps you clean your email list and get back out there and emailing people, because right now is the most important time, if there ever was one, to really have that digital presence and make sure that you're nurturing your email list. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the comments. And if you did enjoy this video, please give us a like and subscribe to this channel for more great email marketing videos just like this one.